Hey guys, and welcome to the Bayern View. Hope you guys are all doing well. As you can see, we got Daps from Never a Foul. Make sure to hit the subscribe button on their channel. It's in the title, so go to do that straight away. And yeah, big up to everyone. Obviously, Man City versus Bayern tomorrow, whichever way around you want to say it. And yeah, we had to get a City fan on to see their perspective because a lot of people hate City fans. They do. Just because of their success.
This is the second time I've heard this.
Yeah, I see it all the time.
See, I'm getting that no one cares about us because we're not relevant. That's what we get told. We get told no one hates us because we're not relevant. Apparently.
Now, I didn't want you to. I'll be truthful. I'll say it to you right now. I didn't want you to win the Champions League, not only because you're Man City or anything like that, but because of Pep. Because he never did it with us. He did it with you guys. He did it with Barca. Never did it with us, which is, the thing that haunts his stay at Bayern. But yeah, either way, welcome.
And also the fact that he came in and replaced a manager that just won everything.
Legit,
yeah, everything, literally in one season. Yeah. I always when we first got him, I was one of the people that was like, listen, Man City have got Pep Guardiola, that's mad, firstly. But I do understand what people are saying because the previous manager at Bayern won everything. But yeah. There's this. I kind of like this. Everyone hates City because I'm used to no one cares about City, so I don't mind doing that.
Most definitely. But yeah, thank you for coming on, mate. And
thanks for having me.
Yeah, and we'll get into this. So I think we should probably start with the Champions League, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
So yeah, were you at the game? Were you at both of the Bayern games? I swear I've seen both of you.
No. Do you know what? I didn't do Bayern home and I didn't do Real Madrid home. I did Real Madrid. And did I do? Do you know what? I didn't do Leipzig home.
Yeah.
Bayern home. Or Real Madrid home. But I did Leipzig away, Bayern Munich away, Real Madrid away, and Istanbul. I just, I've got a daughter that I have to...
Yeah.
That I have 50% custody of. And I have to pick the games I go to. And the Champions League away games for me are just different gravy. They're the home game. And do you know what? The home games, we've got enough support as it is rocking. The Etihad's rocking. I really, if I have to pick one, I always prefer to do the away games. Although, don't get me wrong, our two best performances this season were Bayern Munich at home and Real Madrid at home. But yeah.
I was at the Etihad for the City game. You guys bent us over.
I personally think that the Bayern Munich home game, we performed better than the Real Madrid home game. And that sounds mad because we beat Real Madrid 4-0 and I think we beat you 3-0. But and maybe it was the start of it and then the next one, but it was just, we seemed so controlled against a midfield that potentially is the second best midfield in the world, maybe.
Yeah.
Right. And that was it for me, that against Real Madrid, it's like, I think currently Madrid's midfield, especially last season, wasn't the best midfield. Yes, up top, absolutely. But with Bayern, it was like, I'm looking at a midfield that has the potential to be able to control games like City's midfield can. And the way we were just so professional against you really, to me, stood out. So
Yeah, without a doubt. And of course, Rodri again.
Yeah.
We had a chance to bloody sign him, but we went with Lucas Hernandez instead. Yeah, that was a mistake. But what a goal it was. I was behind the goal, not right behind the goal. I was up on the in the stands.
Were you in the Bayern end?
No, I was in the City end because I couldn't get any. Because obviously I'm from the UK, I couldn't get any.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Tickets, but it wasn't the best time. Let's put it that way.
It's funny. It's funny. Do you know what? Because so I was on Man City's channel when they did the draw for the quarters and the semis, right? And before the quarters, they asked us who we want. And a few other City fans were saying, we want Real Madrid, we want revenge. And I said, I do believe we want revenge off of Real, but I think we need one more scalp, big scalp. Because, and admittedly, I was saying ideally one of the two Milan teams in the quarters. But the way I see it is that especially, and this is where going to away games, I think, is really, really important. You get to sense the vibe amongst the fan base. And the one thing that I've sensed among our own fan base over the years is it's starting off with us not believing in the Champions League, maybe not even believing that we deserve to be there, because it's new to us. It is still new to us. I think this was our 12th year in it, I believe, 12th or 13th year in it. And then I feel like the season we got to the final where we played, I think we played Dortmund. We played Dortmund. We beat Dortmund. We started to believe a bit more. Then we played PSG with Neymar. I think Messi was there, Mbappe, and we beat them. And it was like, right, we really believe. We're starting to believe. We went to Porto, and it felt like we kind of believe, but we don't fully believe yet. We're new to this, believing that we actually could win the Champions League. Then the next season, again, we felt a bit more, and we played Atletico in the quarters. We started to believe a bit more when we beat them, and we actually went to Real Madrid, to the Bernabeu, not last season, season before, thinking we were gonna win. And at that point, I would have told you, yeah, we think we can win it, but it wasn't. It still wasn't quite there. And then this season, obviously, group stages, we flew through the group stages. Leipzig away, the sense amongst the fan base was a bit more like, you know what? And what I mean by that is we were more together as a fan base. We were a bit louder, and I could just sense, you know what? I don't know if you know, but City this season have sung this song, something's happening to me. And it is a bit like we felt round that Leipzig time, especially Leipzig home. Leipzig home was potentially the game that City's season turned round in. So we played Forest away and drew. Then we played Leipzig away and we drew. And we were starting to our form was starting to change. Then when Leipzig at home, we beat them 7-0. It was like, okay, wow. This looks like a different City team to the last couple of months. All of a sudden, something has happened here. Something's going on. Bayern Munich away, though, that is when it really, really happened, because we beat you at home. And I'd said on City TV, when they said, how do you feel about having Bayern? I said, Bayern Munich, second leg at the Allianz, that's hard. We have to get a very good result in the first game, because going to the Allianz will be hard. But who have we got in the next round? They said Real Madrid. And I said, where is the second leg? And they said, the second leg is at the Etihad. And that is the first time in my life I said, if we beat Bayern Munich over 2 legs, we will win the Champions League. Because I honestly believe having Real Madrid's second leg at the Etihad will blow them away. Whatever, as long as we go to Madrid and get a result, whether it be 2-1, 1-1, so we can take them back to the Etihad. But yeah, and the Allianz, what an experience that was as well. Very different. Very. Bayern's a beautiful city. It's weird the way we mingled with the German fans. Like, you leave the ground at the same time as the German fans, and you kind of literally go and get your food in the same place they're getting their food. And it's very bizarre, but there wasn't any trouble. And I think that's maybe something that I think at Leipzig and Munich this season I saw, is that the police over there just kind of, they trust you. But if there is any trouble, they deal with it extremely quickly. So, But that game, that was, it's a loud stadium. The first 25 minutes, it was absolutely rocking. And then after 25 minutes, most of the ground went a bit quieter. But behind that goal, they didn't stop. Even when I think you were on aggregate 4-1 down, behind the goal did not stop for the full 95 minutes. So, and at that point, I thought, right, we've just beat Bayern Munich. And that made us believe, I think, because that's what I meant by a scalp, that this season we've earned the Champions League. Like, people can't say, oh, you got a lucky draw and this and that. We played Bayern Munich. I think second most Champions Leagues of all time, is it? Is it second most?
I think AC Milan have more than us.
Right, so it's third. So it's third then. So it goes, right. So definitely football heritage, especially in recent years. Then we beat Real Madrid, same thing. And then against Inter, it's again, Inter have won 3, but also with Inter, it's more the fact that it was a completely different style of football we had to play in. So to go through it, yeah, man. So,
Were you in Istanbul for the final?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and even that was an experience. That was different because on match day I was I've never been so nervous for a game of football in all my life. Never been so nervous. But yeah, do you know what? So playing Bayern, just quickly to go into that one.
Yeah, that's fine.
The one thing I feel, the second leg in particular, you really missed was just a forward, man. Like it just looked. Every time you got to the final third of the pitch, I just didn't really think you were going to do much because it just looked like you haven't got that Lewandowski now. Like we've got that Haaland and I'm sure that's something you're trying to do this summer.
Yeah, most definitely.
Whether you get Kane or not, we don't know. But do you want Kane?
Yes, I do want Kane, but just for me, the annoying thing with Kane is obviously his age and the price, where we could go and get a younger striker like Dusan Vlahovic, and he'd be there for longer.
I think he'd suit you as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I guess you could say how old was Lewandowski when you got Lewandowski?
Oh wow, I believe late 20s. I want to say.
Yeah, so I thought at the time, I get why you're getting him, but you'd rather get someone young, right?
Yeah.
I think Vlahovic would really suit you as well, to be honest, as well.
Yeah, 100%. And the most annoying thing about it is if Kane and Daniel Levy weren't such idiots, you would have got Kane and we would have got Haaland.
Potentially. Potentially.
Yeah. It's just crazy how the world works, isn't it?
Yeah.
Nuts. But yeah, I was in the Etihad for that game, and good experience. Obviously not the experience I wanted. I wanted us to win. But you guys tore us apart limb from limb.
Yeah.
On getting us in the Champions League though, and obviously you guys won it, and congrats for winning it and everything. I'm not trying to be that guy, but do you think it would have been a different story if we would have kept Julian Nagelsmann, or do you think you guys would have still demolished us? It's all ifs and buts, isn't it? But
right. So when you got Tuchel, I thought it was bizarre as hell. I'm not a fan of Tuchel. Don't rate.
No,
Tuchel.
me neither. Neither.
And but at the same time, there was this real, you know what, Tuchel. The one thing, he beat us in the Champions League final, right? Yeah. That was the one thing. It's like, is this really happening? Is this just a sign that we're not supposed to win this damn Champions League, that we're having to play this guy again? But I will say that yes, when he first arrived at Chelsea, he beat us in the FA Cup, the League, and the Premier League. Sorry. The FA Cup, the Premier League, and the Champions League, sorry. But then after that, he didn't at all, not once. After that Champions League final, every single time Pep had his cards. And even to the point where I can remember, I think it was last season, maybe it was October. No, maybe it was November last season or the season before. And Chelsea was still in the title race. City were top. Chelsea and Liverpool were there or thereabouts. But we were starting to pull away a little bit. And I remember Chelsea came to the Etihad. It would have been last season, in fact. And they needed to get something out of it. We didn't where we were. It was like, do you know what? We've got that bit. I think they were third. And they played such negative football, like all he knew was to hit us on the counter and play for a draw. And it was like, you need points. Why are you coming to the Etihad and trying to hit us on the counter and play? And it just didn't really make sense. And it just made me think this guy it's counter-attacking football is all he can do. And that's it. And that's not, do you know what? The one thing that Pep really, I know Pep didn't win you a Champions League and you've had more successful managers than Pep. But the one thing Pep did do at Bayern was he he brought you into the modern day with your style of football and everything.
He did make
and
us a monster.
That's the one. He made you a monster with the football you played. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I just think with Tuchel, it's like this could go backwards. This could just take it back to that. Look, Bayern Munich are a big enough club that I don't like looking at big clubs and expecting big clubs playing negative, counter-attacking football. That's not. And Bayern Munich's fans have been flipping spoiled, right? They don't just want to win. They want to win playing good football. They don't want to win playing that football. So I think Nagelsmann thing, yeah, maybe. But I ultimately think without the striker, you just didn't look a big enough threat. I think that's what you're missing at the moment. I think you solve that and you're halfway there. So yeah.
Yeah, no, most definitely. I have to agree with that. And it didn't help that we sold one of the best strikers in the world to Barca and then tried to replace him with Sadio Mané.
Yeah, with an agent Sadio Mané as well.
Yeah.
Who isn't a striker, by the way?
Exactly. Yeah, he's a winger, and we tried to put him at centre forward.
Yeah. Has things changed at Bayern as far as the board wise?
Yeah. So obviously they sacked Julian Nagelsmann and brought in Tuchel, and then at the end of the season, obviously we won on the last day, and they sacked Brazzo.
No. I know that, but before that. In recent years, it's just right because it just seems like and I don't mean this summer. I mean before this summer, some Bayern decisions just seem a little bit non-Bayern, not
because
the usual way of going about
it. Because they got rid of well, I don't know if he necessarily got rid of Rummenigge, but Rummenigge left, and then that's when Brazzo and Oliver Kahn come in,
right?
And they tried to go with the new guys, and it did not work. Obviously,
I still think you can sense it, to be honest, because just a few of the decisions maybe not as. I do think. Do you think you'll get Kane?
I really do. Yeah. His missus was over in Munich looking at schools and houses and stuff. So yeah. Well, that's what's being reported. I don't know if you believe it, but
I think Bayern is. I think Bayern would suit Kane on and off the pitch as well. I can imagine if Mbappe goes PSG trying to get involved, but maybe it's a bit closer to England from that point of view if they do get involved, but I don't think that will suit Kane as much. And I also think if Kane goes to Bayern Munich, there will be no love lost with the Tottenham fans at all.
Yeah.
I think Tottenham fans are going to go, oh, we hate you because you've gone to Bayern. It's if they were to go to another Premier League club, don't think they'd be too keen with it. You could even say going to PSG, some might say, oh, we're selling out for money or something. Whereas with Bayern, I think they just think, yeah, fair enough. You're going to another club to win trophies, but without impacting us in any sort of way. So, yeah. And it would suit you up top 100% because, like I said, last season in that, not in the first leg, but in the second leg, you just missed something through the middle massively. Yeah.
To be just quickly, we'll finish on the Champions League. But on that first game as well, where you guys smashed us 3-0, I'm really surprised it's not more because our goalkeeper Jan Sommer, I don't know what he was doing with the ball at the back, but he scored a couple of own goals in that one as well.
Yeah. Do you know what? I think that's what I mean by when I said before that the reason why I think it was such a good performance is how controlled it was, and it was very, very similar to the Real Madrid away game as far as control wise, as nothing seemed rushed. Sometimes in the Champions League, we've seemed a bit. Real Madrid at home last season was a great example where I can't remember what the score was. It was something like 4-3 in the end or something like that, right? And it was very, we've scored one, we've got to rush and score another, And because of that, we kept making mistakes and conceding. Whereas against you in that quarterfinal, it just seemed more like, don't worry, like we've scored one. There's no need to rush to score a second. It will come. And everything seemed.
And with you saying that as well, now that you've said that, I can, because obviously I was there, I know exactly where you're coming from.
And honestly, if you look at, in hindsight, when you look at the year before against Real Madrid, it was so, we've got to hit them at full pace. And look, you can hit, do you know what? There probably actually isn't that many Premier League teams that you can disrespect nowadays, and I don't want to disrespect any, but there's some teams that you can in the league that, or do you know what? Even Leipzig, I'll say it, Leipzig at home, right? We could just go boom, boom, and just keep hitting them. But against teams like Bayern Munich and Real Madrid, they've got far too much quality to risk losing the ball to by being over enthusiastic, trying to score another, and all of a sudden your league get completely wiped out. And that's how I felt. It was just very trust the process, trust ourselves, and trust that we will get another one. There's no need to panic or anything. So yeah, it was a very controlled game. Very, very controlled.
Yeah. Yeah, most of on transfers though. So we're looking at your right back, Kyle Walker. What would be do you want to keep him?
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
So if he was to come to us, you wouldn't be happy with it, I'm guessing.
We wouldn't be. We'd be sad to see him go, but we'd understand. I think this is the thing with where me personally, where I am, is Kyle Walker and Ederson, I think, are two of Pep's most underrated signings at Manchester City, because the first season Pep arrived where he didn't have either of them. I think we've came third or fourth. They came in and just completely changed everything. Kyle Walker's won five Premier Leagues with us, Champions League, countless League Cups. For me, he's the leader of our English players. His experience. It's funny because in English media over the last couple of days, like literally over the last couple of days, I'm all of a sudden seeing massive Kyle Walker props. Massive. Is Kyle Walker one of the best right backs the Premier League's ever seen? And it's like, at last, because for years it's been, Reece James and Trent Alexander are levels above him, and he's not even in the conversation. It's like, are you mad? He's been doing it way before both of them, right?
Yeah.
He's older than them. And he's a leader. He's one of our, at City, we have a manager, we have the captain, and then we have 5 seniors who are 5 senior players that if the captain isn't on the pitch, one of those will have the armband. There'll always be one of them on the pitch. And Kyle Walker is that person. He's one that, I don't know if you know this, and this is a bit where I think Pep, right, there's players like Bernardo Silva, players like Mahrez, players like Kyle Walker, Gundogan, that have been at the club for a long time. They've won everything. Up until this season, they'd won everything. And then this season, they won a 3-peat and a treble, including the Champions League. So now they've literally won everything. When a player has won everything, right, you have to have something to make them go again or make them stay. Whether it be a bumper pay rise, whether it be a challenge they haven't achieved yet, there often has to be, if there's another club in for him. Now, if there's not another club in for him, they'll stay. Because I'm not saying they're unhappy at the club, but they've done everything, they've achieved everything. And when they're of a certain age, they've only got a certain amount of time left in their football career. So if they've got aspirations, whether that be to earn more money, whether that be to win trophies in a different club, whether it be to go back to their childhood club, there can be multiple reasons. But this is where I'm at with any of those senior players. They've done everything for us. For us to go, no, you must stay and not fulfill all your dreams because we love you so much isn't fair. And like Kyle Walker has done everything for us. So for us to go, and that's where I am with him, that if he wants to stay, absolutely brilliant. But if he wants to go, that's fine, man. That's fine. We have to let him go. And, you know, it surprises me a bit because I was thinking Bayern must be offering him more money. But I don't think it is that. I think Kyle Walker just must want a different challenge. He must just think, do you know what? I've done and I've achieved everything I can at this club. I think also what's probably relevant is the fact that last season in April, Pep came out and said Kyle Walker's doesn't fit the system at the moment. And that system is 4 centre-backs, right? With one that inverts. And then, at the time I said, but I do think Kyle Walker's still, honestly, on my life, I said at the time, Kyle Walker is a mature, senior enough player that is not exactly how the conversation will have gone. And I said at the time, Pep will have said something like, right now, Kyle, you don't fit the system, but you do know at some point I'm going to need you this season to step up. And as a senior player who's already won 4 Premier Leagues, he would have said, no problem. I get it, Gaffer. No problem, right? Because he understands at City, you're part of a squad. That's the difference between him and Cancelo. Cancelo did not understand this whole part of the squad. And you can be a best 11 and ending up the season trophyless. Or you can be part of a squad, still play 30 games a season across all competitions and end up with 3 trophies. Which one would you rather? And I think that's what Kyle Walker gets. Now, the minute we get Real Madrid and there's Vinicius, and Pep goes, Kyle, I need you now. Kyle goes, I understand the assignment. Absolutely no problem. As a 32-year-old man, you want me to go and outpace Vinicius Jr. I am fully up for that. Right. And that's what Kyle Walker is about. I've seen Kyle Walker look at young men who think they're going to outpace him and literally go on then, I dare you. And then outrun them. Right. And that's a challenge. He's a guy that rises to a challenge. And I think now he's just probably looking at it thinking, I'm going to get more of a challenge next season at Bayern than I am at City because I think I'm going to be bit part. And for that, I understand. It does worry me because I think there will be games. We can't keep him just based on we're going to need him for X, Y, and Z games. Yeah. But it does worry me. And it kind of is funny that I think you will end up getting him because I think City have accepted. I think Kyle wants, and I think you're after this. I think they're probably having chats now as we speak, literally over dinner. Yeah, because you're out there, we're out there. It'll probably, but we'll see where those chats go. Then the funny bit though is that with Walker leaving, and the fact that no one wants Cancelo at the moment, that Cancelo's back playing for us. And I think that just, I think Kyle Walker is Cancelo. That must be hard for Cancelo to swallow as a younger player that Bayern didn't want to keep him, have gone in for Kyle. Now he's back at City and maybe no one's come in for him because the price we're going to want and the wages he's going to want. So he started playing, but on that side, he probably has had to come back to Manchester City, swallow his pride a bit, accept that he is part of a squad. And we'll see where that goes. We will see where that goes, whether we keep him or not, because, he's going to cost someone a lot of money in wages. I think Barca want him, but as usual, when Barca want a player, they actually have no money to buy him with, no money to sign him with. And I think now City are probably at the point with Barcelona where they're like, we're not doing you no more favours. We've given you X, Y, Z players on, you'll give us this money over 5 years and whatever else. And now we're not doing it anymore. So we'll see. We've got Cancelo back for now. But do you want Walker? What do you think?
Yeah, I take him because I think I generally think, and you mentioned it earlier about Thomas Tuchel's style of playing that. Yeah. I generally think he probably wants to go with a 5 at the back at Bayern or a 3, as you would say. And then from there, what we'd have Alphonso Davies on one left wing back and then Kyle Walker on the right wing back.
Yeah.
And obviously they're both ridiculously fast.
Yeah.
So, but what about Benjamin Pavard? Because for some reason you guys were being linked with him.
Yeah. I don't know too much about him. Pep seems keen on him. I've heard he's quite versatile. And I think he's a centre-back that can also play on the right. Yeah. That's what Pep's looking for, ultimately. You could also say he's not going to come in and be first choice. I think he's aware of that because of he's at Bayern, the same thing there. And it probably is just a deal that I think probably is easy to get done. But the key to it is Pep's interested. And that's the thing. Look, Akanji last season, none of us, if you would have asked any City fan about Akanji, we wouldn't have known much about him. Any Premier League player team wouldn't have known much about him. He's come in and he's been perfect for what Pep needed. So that's my whole view on the transfer window, to be honest, mate, and I keep saying this to so many City fans, is this board, this manager has won us the treble, right? Mm-hmm. If you can tell me that you thought Akanji was going to be, an important, integral player, then I'll listen to you. But if not, I'll listen to Pep. Pep knows the team. And I just trust the board to sit back and don't get me wrong, I want Vardio. But I just trust the board and let the board do what they've got to do. Until it gets to a point where the board keep dropping stinkers, then I'm just going to trust them because, I'd rather trust the board than Twitter and FIFA, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly. And Fabrizio did have a bit of a meh on the whole Guardiola deal, though, didn't he? That was a bit mad. But we'll move on from transfers. We'll talk about tomorrow's game. What I'm guessing some of your young lads are out in Asia.
Yeah. So you've got Cole Palmer out there, whether you see him as young or not, but he's kind of a fringe player. He's out there. You've got McAtee out there. McAtee's the one that I'm really, really keen to see a lot of. And then you've also got Bob as well.
Is his name literally Bob?
Oscar Bob.
Oh, that's sick.
Oscar Bob. And last game, he really, really impressed. And a few people apparently have come in for him. And Pep said afterwards that he said, we had Foden, we had Rico Lewis, and now we've got Oscar Bob. He's one that's impressing me. Like, he's one of the ones that I think Pep's really, really, really think he's. I think he's Scandinavian, but I have a feeling he's got to have something to do with Brazil with a name like Oscar Bob.
What position does he play?
Hold on one sec. I don't know too much. I'm not going to sit here and act like I know too much about him.
Yeah.
Oscar Bob. So Oscar Bob is a Norwegian footballer. He's a forward. I'm sorry, but I just proper get Brazilian vibes off of him. I don't know why. It's probably
Norwegian.
It's the name. It's Oscar Bob is just such a. It probably reminds me of Joe, probably because he looks a little bit like Joe, who used to play for City as well. But so he's a forward. But the one for me is McAtee. McAtee's the one that really, really has impressed me. He just looks like he's got something about him. So there's a lot of talk about him season before last, and he played 1 or 2 games, and he kind of looks a bit David Silva-esque. He's a City boy come through the academy. We loaned him out to Sheffield United last season, him and Doyle, and they were both very pivotal in Sheffield United's promotion last season. And now McAtee's come back, and Pep said I think we've had quite a few teams coming in looking at him, and Pep said, nah. He's staying. He's not going anywhere. We want to keep him around the team. So, but I think, I don't know, probably for you guys and for us, but for us, certainly, this tour is definitely a marketing thing.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Without a doubt, yeah.
And with it being it's been, from a City point of view, this is the treble tour, right? So if you go to Japan, I feel like the way it is we can't go there and play all of our fringe players. Haaland has to get some minutes. This is City v Bayern in Japan, right? It's going to sell out. It's going to sell out the stadium, right? It has sold out the stadium. They haven't gone there to see Oscar Bob and James McAtee. They've gone there to see Haaland, Grealish, Sadio Mané, Leroy Sané, Kimmich, and whatever else. So, so I do expect that we will see a lot of the. I don't think apparently. Well, there's reports that Kyle Walker won't start, but then I did read earlier on that Pep said if we need Kyle Walker, then Kyle Walker's a City player, and why would he not start? Which I kind of get. I
get it as well. Yeah.
So
no, 100%. Like I see a lot of fans all over social media saying like we have to win this one, and that it's like I get your point because it's
we played you last year, didn't we? As well.
Yeah,
played you in America last year.
Yeah, like the whole revenge thing, I think is just like at the end of the day, you were just better in the Champions League, and you smashed us in first leg. So,
come on, it's a friendly. This is like if any Arsenal fans claim that if they beat us in the Community Shield, they've got revenge, then I'm going to laugh my head off because I don't think Bayern and that. I'm sorry. I am apologising for comparing you to Arsenal there. Bayern Munich are far too big and have won far too much to say that they need revenge in a friendly in Japan. That's not Bayern Munich. That's not Bayern Munich. Yeah, that's definitely Twitter talking there. The young, listen, Bayern Munich have done and won way too much to be going, right, we've got to beat them in a friendly. Everything's fine now. The club's back. We're back where we need to be. No, that's not.
With
Bayern.
this manager.
No,
not with this manager. Yeah, I'm hoping he's going to be sacked very soon. But
I can see it as well. To be fair,
me
actually,
too.
yeah. Last day of the season was last day of the season. You got lucky as well. To be fair, didn't you?
Yeah. Dortmund slipped up. Otherwise, they would have won the trophy.
Yeah,
without a doubt. I can generally see him being sacked by Christmas. I say it to everyone, but I'm the negative one. So.
Oh right, okay. Oh, you've got to get behind him because Yeah,
no, screw that shit. Question for you though: if Bayern were to get Harry Kane, where do you think Bayern would fare in the Champions League coming up this season?
So you're keeping Mané, right? You're keeping Sané.
I think Mane's going to Saudi.
Oh no, Mane's going to Saudi. So are you? Was Mané fully seen as your 9?
Yeah.
Wow.
We played it.
Even Julian Nagelsmann played him. Yeah. Okay. So you're replacing Mané with Kane. You're keeping Kimmich, right?
Yeah.
Have you had any other outgoings?
Off the top of my head, Sabitzer, but he was a bench player anyway.
Yeah. Well, he wasn't there last season, was he? Anyways.
No, he's United, didn't he? I know that Pavard's being linked away, but obviously we just gone and got. It looks like we're going to obviously go and get Kyle Walker.
Yeah,
that one goes through. So, and obviously we just signed Kim and Jay as well. So
yeah, and he'll be a bit. He'll start for you, I think, as well, most definitely. I'm going to be completely honest. Tuchel will get you through the group stages, but I think for you to go anywhere in the Champions League, I think you'd probably. You know what? I'll give you a look. For me, heritage teams in the Champions League, which Bayern are, teams that once you get them into the last 16, who knows what they can do. Okay. Tuchel will have enough to get you through into the last 16. And if he does get you, like the truth is, you got 2 pacey fullbacks. If you get Walker, you got Kane through the middle. There'd be a chance. I wouldn't say you're the favourites just because of signing Kane, but it certainly guarantees you goals, which is one of the things you were missing last season. So, I think there'd be a chance.
Yeah. I've said it to the community that we've got here on the Bayern View. I just don't see us smashing everyone like we used to in the Champions League. Not with this manager, not with his style of play and everything.
That's how I'd see it as well. It's the manager. I don't rate Tuchel. I don't think Tuchel's a Bayern manager either. I don't. Yeah,
I only think he's the manager, to be honest, because he speaks German. If I'm being 100%. But yeah, man. Any questions, people? Let me know. Walker will. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Love the picture as well, man.
What type Pac-Man?
Okay, we just got people. Can buy just. Nah, we're good. You can have him, man.
We don't want him either, really and truly. I mean, look, and I was critical of him before the falling out. And if you go and look at his history as well, he's played for 5 clubs in 5 years. He's fallen out with a lot of them, to be fair. But you know what? Listen, everyone deserves a second chance. He has got a lot of friends at City. He's close with a lot of the City players, very close with them still. And I do think for Pep to allow him to be back round the squad and playing, more importantly, if he makes a City squad going into next season, then there must have been conversations between him and Pep. Because City's board would back Pep to the point of saying, listen, if you've got a real issue with this player, you don't have to put him in the squad. We get he's being paid a lot of money and we get that we can't sell him, but keeping Pep's happy and giving Pep what he wants is more important than that. So I think if he does stay around the team, it will have involved him doing a bit of soul searching and coming back and apologising, 100%. Otherwise, I don't think he'd be allowed to be around the team.
Yeah. How long do you think Pep stays?
Personally, I think is going to see out his contract, so 2 more seasons.
Okay.
I would love him to stay longer, and I'd love to be proven wrong. But I think now we've won the Champions League. Look, he stayed at Bayern 3 years, stayed at, I think, Barcelona 4 years. He's been at City.
So.
By the time this contract is up, he will have stayed at City for 9 years. So I can't expect Pep to stay at City forever. But at the same time, listen, he gets everything he wants as far as he's got friends he's working with. They back him 100%. You know, they involve him in all the right conversations. So we'll see. But I just think now with winning the treble, it might be the time that Pep, these next 2 years, while Pep's trying to achieve whatever he wants to achieve on the pitch, I think Pep and the board behind the scenes will be working together to find the right replacement. The one thing I can very confidently say is this won't be like when Alex Ferguson left Man United and
they just plummeted.
And the team was left, you know, the squad was left aging. Look, I think the reason we're looking at Vardy is because I think Pep wants to leave City with a young spine that's ready to go with whoever the manager is that comes in next. Yeah. And I think he's too, you know, his brother owns a football club with this board. This board are his friends. This board's the reason he's at our club because, you know, they're his friends from back Barcelona days. He's not going to leave Manchester. And also, Khaldoon is his friends. The Sheikh, you know, he's got too much respect for the club and love for the club to leave us in the slump. So we'll see, though. We'll see. You never know. Stranger things have happened. Man City have won a Champions League, so anything can happen now.
Yeah, for real. Poma says, Salas, Leroy. Oh, you can take Leroy Sané, mate. You can take him, have him.
That's a real City thing. We love him. We love him.
You can have him back because I just don't think
Pep would. I don't think Pep would. Pep, if Pep gets rid of a player, he's got rid of him for a reason. I know Leroy wanted to go, but I just think, I can't see it. I'd love it. I love Leroy Sané. For me, he's one of the most exciting footballers we've ever had. But and do you know what? The one thing I would say, actually, with 4 centre-backs now and with our defence being so much more solid than it used to be, maybe Pep might, but I just don't see... The only things I see about Leroy Sané in the media is, and Man City, is fans saying we want Leroy Sané. I never see actual reporters coming out and saying Man City are looking at Leroy Sané. That would be... If we got Vardy and Leroy Sané, then my summer is the happiest summer I've ever had as a Manchester City fan. With the treble, with the players we brought in and whatever else, that would be my happiest summer. But I just can't see it happening.
Yeah, just for me, I just think every time something doesn't go right for him, he just loses his head too quickly.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not sure on Sané, to be honest with you. But either way, thanks for coming on, Daps.
No, I appreciate you having me.
Without a doubt, man.
Hopefully we'll catch up this season if we get each other in the hopefully not the group stages. Hopefully, can we get each other in the group stages? Probably can't, can we?
No, because we're both on the league.
Yeah, we're both. So... Oh yeah, there's not a chance we're going to get each other. So hopefully in the hopefully around February time March time we can draw each other again.
100%, mate. 100%. Make sure to go and subscribe if you haven't already, people. It's in the title, Never a Foul. Make sure to go and subscribe. And we'll leave that there. And this has been a good one. I've enjoyed this one. And big up to everyone. So yeah, smash the thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, all that good stuff. Until then, Mia Samia. Peace out.